50 Cent's first time coming to LA to perform at the House of Blues. And Suge wanted us to go in there with some of our little homies, purchase like champagne bottles. He was gonna buy the tickets and give us money to buy the bottles. And when 50 hit the stage, he wanted us to have our little homies pelting with bottles. He was like, House of Blues don't sell bottles on the beer in bottles on hip hop nights. They pour the beer in cups. He's like, the only way we get bottles is you have to buy a bottle. He said, I'll buy the bottles. But he was like, he wanted, as soon as that nigga got on stage, he wanted that nigga to get bottled up.
And you were with it?
Hell no, but I would have been with it had I would have been more comfortable over there. But I was like, only thing Suge, when we did the soundtrack, the only song he asked me to get on was a diss song. The only other song that I actually got on the soundtrack was a song I did on my own at Sir Jinx's house, turned it in, and Eddie Griffin loved it so much, it was put on the soundtrack. So for you, after me being around 2 years, like you say, is it just for the muscle, whatever? We done been in a lot of situations where I did smashing, just got active, we out and about, moving around, shit happens. And now here it is after all this time, as much as I wanted to get my feet wet in the game, you call us to the Beverly Hills Hotel, we thinking it's time, because the Booyah Tribe, they had the same type of spirit. Like, when we gonna get a chance to get it cracking. Gangsta Red was on the same diss song with him. But anyway, we get to the meeting, think he was gonna talk to us about some industries, and he was wanting us to do that. We were appalled.
You were appalled because it's like, at that point, you feel like I've come too far to just be a crash test dummy and go do this dumb shit that is obvious you're gonna get caught.
And just think having the intelligence or the wherewithal or whatever word you want to utilize to make that decision instead of just going with the okie doke. I wouldn't even, whether I would have been identified as a participant or not, I wouldn't have been comfortable when I met this dude and the opportunity to even, I had to be a real cold dude to have participated in that, whether I got up out of there without being identified and then still encounter him the way I did. I don't think I would have had the confidence and the interest to approach the situation. I would have felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I was on the opposite side.
How did the conversation start to unfold with 50? And do you think 50 was attracted to the fact that you were previously with Death Row and obviously, like an enemy of my enemy is a friend of mine? After
me and 50 decided to do something together, I was trying to think about how I was gonna bring up Suge, and before a couple of days could go by, he was just, I didn't even know he was aware. I was like, I gotta let this nigga know I was just messing with dude. And he ought to be, before I could even bring it up, he was like, hey, yo, I don't know if you care about what Big Boy think, but I don't give a fuck. So that was real refreshing to hear. I'm like, well, I ain't even got to worry about even bringing it up. He already aware, and he's expressing that he don't care what dude thinks. So it is what it was.
Was 50, I remember hearing somebody say at one point, they were like, somebody said to me, they were like, I respect 50 because at one point he had like 100 Crips around him protecting him, and he never went around saying he was a Crip. Is that accurate?
I've never heard him say he was a Crip.
Right.
So, I know when I first met him, and when he first mentioned, the first time I knew he wasn't 100% happy with what was going on with Doja, he said, he from the West Side. And he said it like, huh? So it was like, before he discussed anything else, he spoke at him like, he's from the Red Side. So I noticed that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of rappers, shout out Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, he starts popping in the game and then he sort of adopts the blood thing or whatever.
Yeah, and he let a grown man kiss him on his mouth all on TV for years too, dude.
Right.
So he wear, I seen him wear like tights, just leggings.
Right, jeggings.
Yeah, jeggings. So, but the culture, the Pyru, then you got, we all know what the rainbow stands for these days. And you had the biggest rapper in the game was rainbowed out. He was claiming blood too.
Not a 6ix9ine fan, I'm assuming.
Takuchi? Not at all. How you gonna be a fan of someone if you a real one from the era we from?
I don't blame you, man.
And, the little bit of that tapped in just to get informed on what he had going on. I looked at the video, and when the video came on, he had his face transposed onto a bikini body of a female, bro.
He did, huh?
Yeah, I'm lost. Then they actually held up his hands, and a green screen rubber rainbow appeared in between his hands. Yeah.
You probably don't even remember that the first time he went viral before he was really like a rapper and shit, he went viral because he had this shirt that said HIV on it.
I didn't know that.
HIV,
no.
and I remember it going around on Twitter. Nobody knew who he was, but everybody was laughing like HIV, like why HIV? Like that's a wild ass shirt to wear.
Wow.
A couple years later, he's a huge rapper.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about him until he was the hugest.
Right.
So I finally was forced to like, okay, let's see what it's all about. And that was part of my introduction, seeing his head on a female body. I was through.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. So.